Welcome to the cipher. Time to let the lions eat. Let's get it.
Y'all just let the boy T1 alone, Wolf in. Fringe Gang, Blue Ribbon Army. We in this. It's the Lion Den Cypher. Let's get it. You are welcome to the Lion's Den. Young lions unleashed. Real Judah, we ready to feast. T1, I'm the wolf of the east. You don't want these problems, these pistols blick like a pistol. These scriptures rip through your tissue. My ox be moving official. Fringe Gang, Blue Ribbon Army. We don't roll with Hollywood. From the wilderness back to the hood, it's real talent coming straight from the wood. I rip and kill these demons, my opposition be screaming, coming for all of the heathen. From Babylon back to England. What's poppin', slime? It's bread and wine. I die in the flesh, refreshed by the bloodline. These Eves in the truth be steady lying. These Jakes in the world be steady dying. Fringe Gang, Blue Ribbon Army. I'm a rep to the death of them. Yeah, boy, we the martyrs. Spit truth to the end begins. I'm coming with apostles' doctrine. My verses be poppin'. All praise to the Abba.
Yes, your flyer, girl. Okay. And exactly what Team One Lone Wolf said.
Looks like you lost another one.
Welcome to the Lion's Den. Grab your paper, pencil, pen. Listen to the scholars, get it in. Precept upon precepts without any ad hominems. Coming from the moderator in the den. May the best better win. Now the bad cat is madness. Newbies acting baddest, saddest. They never kick your status. Regurgitating information that they read from their master. Back and forth, arguing, going off a topic like an outer space rocket. Do me a favor, never catching vapors when they judging you later. Win or lose, that's the grand rules. Arguing with a fool, only make that two. I'm getting him out of his element, he acting like he's selling. The document he telling, becoming overzealous, said I'm dealing with the fellas.
Lions in this bit, I thought you knew.
Looks like you lost another one.
Who is this? Making flip, got their bodies doing flips, screaming yop in my sleepy, got them rocks up on my wrist. Niggas pissed, cause they never seen a click so too legit. Flip back to a jit, I ain't really know shit, but I thought I knew it, cause I slaughter music. Take the beat back to my chicken, let her daughter choose it. Lions Den up in this bit, oh yeah, I thought you knew it. When it come down to debating, ain't no harder to it. Yeah, we go mayhem, dumb, Duffy, Rotonto. You gon' get this truth, nigga, pronto. Sickest in the booth, nigga, tonto. All them nosy ass niggas in your group, I think you gonzo. Pick a sister alley-oop like I'm Alonzo. Chicken stick up in my coupe back to the condo. Mixing Chris with Absolute with Alejandra. Take a picture of them views if you want sauce up. Nigga, say it with your chest if you want cross us. Yasharala on my side, you get tossed up. Guess we got too many wives, they can't like us. They can't like us.
What the heat?
I'm gonna make that shit wavy.
Oh yeah, we on deck. Definitely on deck, family. Got another live one on. No.
Oh, can I send you a jump for you to play? Okay. Y'all should speak for a little bit while I get the gentleman send it to her.
Welcome to the Lions Den. And we're beginning in back chat on live. Don't matter. You got a topic you want to discuss and talk about? Get at me or JJ on the Lions Den messenger channel. Page. And we can put your information out there. You got a debater you want to challenge this information? Get at us. You have a platform you want to share. You have a business you want to share. Anything that you want to put out there, you can contact the Lions Den and help you with your information or your product. Few minutes we're trying to pull up some information, so just give me a few minutes to get the information and pull up.
Yeah, Shalom family. This is Commander General Yashar, representing Swords Debate League, representing Tanks on the Ground, Y'all War Machine, Motivated Focus. All right. I got a few topics, but the main topic that I want to have a discussion about with whoever's available and whoever would like to have this discussion is about Melchizedek. Who Melchizedek is, who he not, what he represented according to the scriptures, according to our ancient information, right? Can I get the screen share?
Yep, waiting on your
All right. So right here, right, this is my little presentation that I put together for is Shem and Melchizedek the same person, right? So I went to different sources and different things to find this information out, right? So just touching on the points of discussion: etymology, the order of our priesthood, who reign over Salem or who reign over Salem, king of righteousness, is Yahushua, aka Jesus, related to Shem. So throughout my presentation, these are the points that I was touching on, right? No, I'm not gonna go through the whole breakdown, right? Because it's like, let me see how many slides I got of this. Got like damn near 40 slides. You see what I'm saying? And I still got some more to add to it. So this is just the start of it, but I just want to share a little bit with you guys, right? So what do it say about Melchizedek a little bit, right? According to etymology, it says king of righteousness, right? A king. Now, when we look at our information in our bloodline, that's exactly what the kings come through. Bloodline. They're not some figment of our imagination. You don't read none of the angels or messengers being kings or priests, to be exact. That's only for the fleshly people. These are our titles, right? These are our titles, right? These are our titles. And from these titles, this is how we understand, who is who in our lineage, right? For example, Father Abraham, right? Of course, he didn't have the title of priest, but what did he do? Did he do the things of the priest? Did he sacrifice to the Most High? Right? Did he give prayer, atonement? Did he act in those ways? Did he lead a people? Was he a servant to his people? Absolutely. All these things you can see in his characteristics and how he carried himself. So understanding what a priest king is and his order and his service to his people, this is how you understand who is who and what is what, right? So let me read this a little bit. He says, he was known as the great high priest, priest of the Most High, which would be back then, before Melchizedek, it would have been Adonai, the Adonai priest, right? And that information is also brought out in our ancient information. So he says, priest of the Most High, Genesis 14 and 18. It says, ordained as a priest after the order of the Son of God. So who was the order of the Son of God? Who would that be? Right? People say, oh, that's just Jesus. Well, when the Most High called Adam, right? He gave him a position of kingship. He gave him a position of kingship. Excuse me, family. Hold on 1 second. Let me deal with my twins real quick because they're doing way too much right now. Stop doing so much. You're doing too much. Knock it off.
Yeah, I shared my video in the background after he finished with his.
Be quiet.
In your messenger, my bad.
I'll start changing the camera. Don't leave. One of y'all get up and move. Do you understand?
I got a video in the messenger you could share when he finished with his presentation thing. As the lines done, we about to get it in.
Hold on, I'm getting it now.
Okay. Yeah, I was just talking because it got quiet. I didn't want people to get bored. But this down the lines, then it's Eric True, mad scientist. Got your Shah, got Karima here. You know, y'all want to jump on, jump on. Trying to get in some good discussions. But this discussion right here is called video I'm about to show is called Japheth, Esau, Albanoism. Just trying to put some stuff together. You know, like I said, I'm trying to bring reality back to the Bible, and trying to get a big building going on and start discussing these scriptures, because I think a lot of people just getting out of it now and not even dependent on the scriptures when they're trying to teach. You can go outside and teach, but they got to coincide with what the scriptures say. You can follow me on Eric Mad Scientist True Heart. On Facebook, Eric True Heart Facebook, True Heart 30 Instagram, Eric the Mad Scientist, True Knowledge on TikTok. You know, I got a lot of information, man. When I go on my page on Eric the Mad Scientist, True Knowledge, I got everything from Africans around the world, New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, Black scientists, biblical, ancient history, you know, science, to AI recognition, to all these things. You know what I mean? So y'all check that out. Here you go. You can start it off at the 5 minute and 10 seconds, because most of it just getting started in the video. So you can start off at 5 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay, E. So it sounded like you got your shit together, you know what I'm saying? Before we get into that though, you know what I'm saying, what the hell you been doing all day, man?
All I do is research, so I ain't at work. So all I do is research.
Word. I've been goddamn focused on this music, trying to get this album out, good music near me. Y'all will get that real soon. In the meantime, I got a single out on iTunes, YouTube right now. It's coming to Spotify. It's coming everywhere. It is called hashtag Let Me Be Great, man. This hashtag Let Me Be Great. Sound dope. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go support it. I might do a video to it depending on how the support I get. So anyway, we're gonna get into this topic. You know what I'm saying? Albinoism, man. Is this where the European white man comes from?
Read for him. Tell them what the albinoism. Let's let y'all know what it is at first.
All right. Let me pull the mic close so I can read. Albinoism is the congenital absence of any pigmentation of color or color. Oh no, that's the wrong one. The term albino, but this is the definition. You don't want to read that? That's wicked. Or that's Wikipedia. Or why? The term albinism typically refers to occultate. Hold on, watch this. All right. That word, albinism, a group of inherited disorders where there is little or no production of the pigment melanin. The type and amount of melanin your body produces determines the color of your skin, hair, and eyes. Melanin also plays a role in the development of optic nerve. So people with albinism have vision problems. Signs of albinism are usually is more on if you want to open the website.
This is telling you and letting you know that albinism messes with the melanin, and when the melanin goes, it causes other things such like hair, different color, different eye color. Okay, and then let's go to the definition. This is the original definition of albino. A person or animal having absence of pigment in the skin and hair and the eyes. An abnormally white animal or plant. In early 18th century from Portuguese original denoting albinos among African black people and the Spanish from albo and Latin albus, white. Okay, you see that right there? So what we got to understand from the beginning, and that all the white people we call today in the modern times did not look like and did not start off like that. The genetics and stuff that happened and adaptation to the environment they're in would happen. Okay, and when we talk about Japheth descendants created a lot of the Europeans, or the Europeans, we're not talking about all of them. We're talking the ones that went into the northern parts where it was cold. And I'm gonna show you how the genetics adapt to it. All right, let's go. Let's go to the next one. All right, 3 types of albinos. It's more type, but these are the real types. I mean, these are the main types. These are the 3 types of albinos. OCA1, extreme albinism, lack of melanin. OCA2, typical albinism, some small measure of melanin. Check this out. OCA3, moderate albinism, some melanin, but far less than normal. Any black with straight hair and defective OC2 gene will produce offspring that is identical to, in fact, is a European type offspring. So this is what I'm trying to say. It's different genes and different things that happen in the mixing of the people and adding other genes to it. So the OCA3 and the OCA2 can in fact create an offspring identical European. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, read that for me.
Albinism and Europeans. Lesson 1. North European affected the OCA2 albinism, mixing in with darker skinned Europeans in Central and South Europe.
So this is talking about the Northern European who had the genes mixing in with the darker European, who also had a different type of gene like that to produce lighter skinned people and dark people, but not the blue eye, blonde hair, OCA2 people.
Most dark skinned Europeans in Central and South Europe make them light by giving them gene. Most of us think of European as an ancestral home of white people, but a new study shows that pale skin, as well as other traits such as tallness and the ability to digest milk as adults, arrived in most of the continent. Rather, Europeans' skin evolved to be much lighter during the past 8,000 years. The modern humans who came out of Africa to originally settle Europe about 40,000 years are presumed to have had dark skin, which is advantageous in sunny latitudes. And the new data confirmed that about 8,500 years ago, early hunter-gatherers in Spain, Luxembourg, and Hungary also had darker skin. They lacked versions of two genes, SLC2485 and SLC4582, that led to depigmentation and therefore pale skin in Europeans today. But in the far north, where low light levels would favor pale skin, the team found a different picture in hunter-gatherers. 7 people from the 7,700-year-old Motala archaeological site in southern Sweden had both light-skinned gene variants, SLC2485 and SLC4582. They also had a third gene, HERC2-OCA2, which causes blue eyes and may also contribute to light skin and blonde hair. Thus, ancient hunter-gatherers of the far north were already pale and blue-eyed.
And this is what I'm trying to say, that all Europeans are not the same. All Europeans not come from the same forms of weight. When you talk about the blue-eyed blonde hair, that's the ones with the OCA2, the OCA3. Then you have different forms that come from albinism, which is white. Then you have other people who have red hair, which that comes from just the OCA3. So we go break this down. I go to the next one. Okay, this is I'm just letting, this is the site that I got that from, so in case one people know the source of that.
This is the source right here. I mean, like, it's all science, man.
It's all science. All right, go to the next one. All right. Listen to this. The most common type of albinism, like this so-called OCA2, the broken air conditioning. Here's the broken OCA2 gene, which causes problems with the acidity inside the melosome. This makes the melanin making process slow way down, meaning less pigment in the end. Still, people with OCA2 can make some pigment, and the melting can make very light. They can look very light, or they can look almost like they don't have albinism at all. However, they will still look lighter than their siblings or family. This is talking about, see the animal with the OCA2. Now this is what I'm talking about. They can still produce black and still produce albino, which is identical to a European with the OCA2. So this is what I'm trying to say, that when they say black people can't produce white people are modern today are a mixture of different genes coming from the people that was in North Europe and South Europe. The OCA3, the OCA2. That's all I'm trying to say. So this is part of the Japheth people. But let's go to the map too. Okay. It says Japheth became Caucasian people. Settled in North Asia, Caucasian mountains, Caucasians, Europe and beyond. Noah's words for the Japheth. It may extend in the territory of Japheth and made Japheth live in the tents of Shem. And you see how it's going up to Europe. Now the people in the southern Europe were not dark, but they was medium in between, because they had the OCA3 too. And then you had the OCA2, which was formed in Northern Europe. Because it's adaptive of where they at, the dieting, the sunlight, You see what I'm saying? It's adapting for them to be able to live in that condition, but it takes generations of generation. This is what people are arguing, that they're acting like it's just a black man who could just turn white. This is generation of adapting to the environment that they live in. Let's go. People with the OCA2 can also get darker as they get older. Africans with OCA2 can actually get fairly light, dark skin, and they can have blue and hazel eyes. So when you talk about the black people with the blue eyes, it's genes. It's genes, adapted genes from where the environment they was living in, then mixing it with other people, and then generations it came down, and then somebody comes out with that gene. This is what happened. This could be the type of albinism that the person you're talking about has. There are also other types of albinism. The OCA3, OCA4, the genes are affected. Hold on.
Come on back.
Okay. This is what I want them to hear. There are also other types of albinism. I'm gonna use this for the Esau part too. And OCA3 and OCA4, other genes are affected. People with OCA3 look reddish. People with OCA4 look similar to those of OCA2. Only the pigment in the eyes is affected, but the skin looks basically normal. So the OCA3 may look reddish. We're talking about Rudy. Okay, you see this person down there? Okay, that's why I'm saying we have to understand the Bible is science too. The Bible ain't just a myth or fairy tales or just stories that we just supposed to believe. We're supposed to break this stuff down. Because science ain't nothing but just showing how stuff works, but it doesn't show that God doesn't exist. We got to understand.
So bring this to the Bible for me, and for the people out there that don't know what you're talking about. Like correlate this topic to the Bible.
So but people is talking about how Esau is the white man, right? And I was saying how Esau could just be a albino. Now people think I'm crazy when I say this, but it's talking about the reddish people. But I also let people know that I'm telling them that Joseph, people went into the North Mountains. They had this gene that adapted from the North Mountains. Japheth is the son of Noah. And his people, they saw the processes of certain Asians and Europeans. So we had to understand, how did they do this? See, a person can say somebody was black and then they was the process of white people, but how can we break down the science into how this happened? And I'm just showing the science of how black people can produce Europeans. And what I'm saying is Japheth people, once they got these genes that adapted to the environment that it was in, you know what I'm saying, they caught these genes. The genes are part of you always and through generations. So now when they mix in with another people who had a different type of gene to what the climate they was at, but they didn't have the gene that had the blue hair, blonde hair, but they might have had the gene to make the light skin. So now that baby is what? Will be super light. It's gonna have blonde hair, blue eyes. It might have the red hair because of the OC3 gene. So what I'm saying is going to produce different types. We don't know. You might have a albino with blonde hair, albino with red hair, a red albino, a straight white albino, everything white. This is what I'm saying through the genes. So we can't say when we talking about white, because white is a created word. Okay. We're talking about nation, nationality, and people are mixing nationality and race up. You can't talk about white and then talk about an Israelite, or talk about black and talk about Israelite, because there is no black and white when it comes to that. It's nationality. So even if they come out that color and European looking, even with blonde hair, blue eyes, their daddy is an Israelite and they are an Israelite. This is the nationality part. Now, when we go into the black and white part, that is the gene part, that is the science part that people are trying to mix in, and the race part that they're trying to mix in with the nationality. But I'm just showing how Europeans are us, but are descendants of people who genes adapted to the environment they was in, mixed in with other genes that were similar, and created the modern European. Because we think the European just came out and looked like that when they didn't.
Word. So, anything else you want to say about this topic or anything else?
Just watch out for part 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just talk about Esau, how I think he was either albino or certain type of genes that he could have had, you know what I'm saying? And even though his parents was black, and this is what we got to really get into. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to build with real, you know, Israelites, man, who deal with the science too, man, who can, because the Bible said prove, man. So we got to prove our books right, man. We can't be keep doing this fairy tale stuff. We got to break down what's really going on and what the Bible really says. All right, peace out.
Yeah. I just want to comment on that comment that I seen. Well, now I never was talking about Israelite genes. I don't know where you even got that from. I was speaking on how Japheth people could have went to a certain area, adapted to the environment. Their skin got lighter. Their eyes became their eyes changed different colors because of the sun rays. They're not getting enough. The dieting that they had became made them lighter, which actually gives them a gene. They went to other people who had certain different type of genes and mixed up, and that's where a lot of the European comes today. That's why when you go to average people, most of them have what? Red hair, because that's a red hair gene. You got the green eye gene. You got the light gene, but people don't like to say light gene. But that's why Africans have more albinos than anybody, because look how dark they is, and they still can create albinos because of the gene. So when people say that you can get back, you can mix back in and come back to yourself. Yes, you can make yourself darker skin, you make yourself lighter skin, but the gene does never disappear, because you could have a ancestor thousands of years ago, 1,000 years ago, they had the blue eye gene, and it can actually affect somebody today, because the gene don't. Some of the genes do go away. Don't get me wrong, because some genes do skip and do go away to where a point when they tested it that in there, like a Native American gene, they say you can actually have ancestors from Native Americans, but in their DNA and when they do it, they can say that you don't, because once you go back, you're going back to more and more grandparents. You have 4 grandparents. Then when you go to the next generation, 8. Then you go to the next is 16. Then it's this. Then it's this. Then you have hundreds of grand. So which line is they going to? See, this is the thing I'm trying to get people to understand. But when you say there ain't no Israelite gene and all that, that's your decision and all that. But I was talking about how people mixing in nationality with genes. And that's the problem. I've heard people, I don't heard Cesariak say it, Israelite is a race. It's not a race. Race was created. How could it be a race back in the day when somebody created the race? When the European created that? He created that to try to make you seem like when you see somebody, a person, you can say, no, that's not that. That's that person not white. I have shown a girl that's light skinned. Her daddy is black and her mama is white, and she would be considered black. I have shown where a dude looks black and his daddy is white. Many say Farrakhan daddy is white. You see what I'm saying? Many people say Farrakhan daddy is white, and other people that have Seti, his mama is white. I'm just saying. So we just got to understand that gene. Why would you think they get lighter? People say that we got lighter, but they don't understand the gene thing, because the genes carry on. Yes, you can still keep it and create black and black and black, but then eventually you might create an albino because of that gene that's still in it. And that's why Africans to this day have more albinos than anybody else in the world. And anybody else can speak.
No, I just think that what the brother Lex is doing is not showing any type of understanding or comprehension to what the information you presented that the other brothers was presenting, right? So they was given their understanding of how they see and understand albinoism, dealing with the recessive genes, whether you're dealing with the hair color, skin tone color, or even the eye color, right? All that deals with science. All that goes back to dealing with our people, right? We got scripts where we talk about a couple of our ancestors or one of our ancestors having that particular trait according to the information. So when you say you can't you can't compare or you can't mix or you can't. It's not about mixing or comparing anything. It's about using methodology to get an understanding of things. According to the way you guys push science, that would be considered a methodology, right? That would be considered a means of how you break things down, how you come to an understanding of what's real and what's not, according to y'all. Album, okay, well, you know, if you feel like it's a disease, come show us that.
This dude crazy.
You know what I mean? Because if you can say like you always do, you run your mouth and you talk a lot. You've always done that, but you don't show nothing, right? You don't have no information to back up what you're saying. You just like to be one that goes against information that's actually being presented, as if you the walking source yourself, right? As if you are the walking encyclopedia to all the information that these brothers be bringing up. You run your mouth with no sources. That's absolutely insane. That's idiotic. That's confusion, to keep it 100, because you're not bringing nothing to the table at all. So that's just what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, like certain ones that you see in the chat, sometimes it's not even worth to address their statements, because that's all it is. It's just them run their mouths, just their feelings.
Yeah, I see that he said it's a disease. I don't know what he's talking about, but
it's a disease. Man, I tell you.
Can you come on here and tell us how it's a disease, man? If you too ignorant to know albino's a disease,
yeah, I'm definitely ignorant. Until you show me, I'm definitely gonna be ignorant. Yeah, show me what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I show what it is. He I don't know what he's talking about. He need to show me how that's a disease.
Yeah, come on up here with a source. I guarantee you don't have no source. I guarantee he don't ask Karima, hey Karima, share my screen. I guarantee you it's not a scientific source. It might come from a blog, some shit that he's about to come with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Opinionated commentary type shit. Like,
and then I want him to answer when it says, and when I showed that the OC, what I said, the OC two people that has it with straight hair can actually produce an identical European. Identical European. So when people say they don't come from us, they do come from us. If you teach we are the original people, then where the hell did Europeans come from? And y'all crazy people teach like young Pharaoh teach a damn monkey and an alien had sex and created the white man. Y'all is fucking crazy. And then y'all want to say us Israelites is psycho. No, we're not psycho. But I should make way more sense than what y'all saying.
Man, who said that?
You know, that's what like young Pharaoh, Unc, I heard Unc said that and aliens and some monkeys got together and or in the European is some type of species from monkeys and aliens. I said, how can we breed with them then? Then they try to say that people.
It sounds like they actually done read some of the book of Enoch. They done came across some information that was actually brought out by our ancestors, and they just flipped it. They added the new age wording like aliens and grays and all this other weird ass shit. Because when these things fell and they made it and they brought forth these different beings with the splicing, they were splicing animals. They was bringing things together that wasn't supposed to come together, right? They were creating hybrids all on the planet. At the end of the day, these motherfuckers, instead of, you know what I'm saying, understanding that our ancestors was on to something back then, they just dismiss all of their information as if they don't have no understanding. Because if they accept our ancestor information concerning and add it to what the fuck they talking about, now they got to give us credit, which is what they don't want to do. This is why they won't come on with no solid information. They'll just come on and run their mouth with a whole bunch of feelings like Onk did the other night. Just me simply asking him about his bullshit he stand on. He got in his motherfucking feelings because I was demanding that he have some fucking decorum and stop cutting me off. So now he want to get in his feelings and act like I'm the problem. That's deflection, bro. That's deflection from.
And you know what? And you know what? Esau, that book you talking about, Enoch, that's talking about splicing. Think about it. They just now start doing that now. They're splicing and making hybrids now. So just think how intelligent our people was back then for them to even talk about splicing.
Yeah, bro. This is where they get the. This is what they talk about, the sacred knowledge. That sacred knowledge comes from the fallen, bro.
Yes,
it was the actual information that they was teaching us to actually, you know what I'm saying, go against the Most High God.
Yeah.
And so all of these,
but you know what? That I feel like that this to prove a lot of the evolution stuff too, man. Because when they do hybrids, if you understand hybrid of the way they doing it, they can't take two different species and make a hybrid. It got to be amongst the family. Like when they make a tiger, it's a lion and a tiger together. They make the liger. When they make a I forgot what it's called. It's a zebra, but it's a zebra and a type of horse, but it's of the horse family. So why can't they do that with a human and apes? Why can't we breed with apes if we are ape? And then they'll try to say, oh, because we are a different type of ape. That makes no sense. So we are ape like the we are ape, but we're not the same ape as them. But we in the ape family. But we can't breed with them. We can't do nothing with them. They can't talk. They can't build. They have no intelligence. They don't have the same intelligence. Just because they can take a rock and motherfucking or just because they could take some and use it as a little tool, somehow they supposed to be our ancestor. So these dumb monkeys, they can't even build a house, is our ancestors, and we can. They don't even have the same. They have lesser chromosomes, but they supposed to be our ancestors. This just don't make any sense because our ancestors were great men. They were scientists, and I say these people are spitting racist science. They're spitting the same science these white people was down here telling us when we called us monkeys and apes. You see what I'm saying? And now they want us to believe that. Now you got black people actually teaching people that bull.
Yeah, it's absolutely sad, bro, and it's putting us back. You know what I'm saying? They think they, you know what I'm saying, advancing our understanding in this modern day science. Nah, stupid. You dumbing us down and you putting us further back. Because I guarantee this is why I frame my question the way I do, Eric. You know what I'm saying? And I ask every last one of these clowns that be talking that slick shit, man, what did your ancestors say about what you're talking about? Can you go back and tap into anything that your ancestor was saying outside of this new age shit that's coming out of your mouth? And you know what I get, bro? Crickets. You know what I get? Oh, but the Bible says, but we're not talking about the Bible. I just asked you a question about your ancestors and the information that you out here spewing to our people as if they were spewing that shit. If you can't confirm it through your ancestors, why the fuck are you repeating it? No answers, bro. This shit is absolutely insane.
Yeah, because see, they feel like they don't have to, and they feel like we have to, and that's why. And I agree with what you said, because I tell them all the time when they try to be like, prove this, prove that, and I be like, disprove it. You see what I'm saying? Disprove God don't exist. You can't. They tell me it ain't on me. It is on you, because I ain't going around going to atheists and saying, oh, God do exist. You better believe in God. I'm not saying that. I'm speaking for myself. So when you come to me and you say God don't exist, then you have to prove to me that God don't exist. You see what I'm saying? And then they try to flare it. Well, since you can't prove it, and I just be telling me, man, y'all science is just as much belief as anybody. You can't even find, like I said, I can't even find the ancestor of what you say we came from. You can't even find the human. You can't even find a human that's half ape and half man that had the tail that Unc talk about. Where is he at? Where is that fossil at? And then I heard one of them say, "Oh, fossils don't work like that. Everybody doesn't fossilize." So then why are you trying to act like just because you can't find it, it don't exist?
He said everybody doesn't fossilize. Well,
yeah, he said
everybody doesn't fossilize because everybody is not being fucking covered and buried alive, dumb fucks. Like, what the fuck are people talking about? Do they? I don't even think they understand what they be saying, because they hear certain shit and they run with it. You know what I'm saying? And they act like, oh, right there sounds so on point. Then when you bring it to somebody with some understanding and some wisdom and knowledge, it's like, yo, what the fuck is you talking about, bro?
Yeah, that was saying that they was good, man. Did you hear that belly button jump, man? Y'all killed them on that, because that I was like, I ain't understand that. Like, how you talking about why they don't have a belly button? And the first thing I thought was like, what? They won't born. If you was born from a human and you get the belly button, that's what it is, because it produces to the placenta. You actually get oxygen from the placenta, and then when you go through the womb, your lungs inflate and cause air to go through it, and that's why it's called the breath of life because of the oxygen. I mean, I'd be like, these people call themselves scientists. I just don't see it. But you could go ahead with your slide up.
You said what?
I think he had I think Yashar had like a slide or something he was trying to show.
Yeah, you gotta put his screen back up.
Oh, okay.
Up on the panel, Lex.
Yeah, my bad, family. What was you saying about the slide?
Yeah, I think you had a slide. She said you got to share it so she can put it up on the screen.
Yeah, let me get back to it. Yeah, I was just, you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to show and get somebody to have a discussion with me on this particular topic. You know what I'm saying? And to really bring out some information, some in-depth information, and not just the surface when it come down to who Melchizedek is. Because I'm going deeper than just the Bible. I'm going into our writings about him. I'm going into the historians about him. And it's not lining up with the religious state of mind. It's not lining up at all. You know what I'm saying? So let me get back to it real quick. All right, hold on. Share screen. Boom. Bam. Bam. All right, here we go. So getting back to where we was at, we was dealing with the etymology of the information of who he is, right? So like I said, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I do want to touch on a few things, right? So let's deal with the word itself, right? How it is it just one word, or is it two different words put together to make the title, right? Is it the name of somebody that's living, or is it a title given to a living being? I don't think brothers and sisters are really asking themselves that question when it comes down to Melchizedek, right? So I think that's big enough for you guys to see it clearly. So now this is the lexicon, the Hebrew lexicon, as you can see. And I went to the actual origins of the word, right? From the Hebrew, which is H428, Malak, right? That's the first part of Melchizedek, which will be the male part, right? Which is king, right? That's what that is. So let's go and see what Zadok is, or Tezadok, right? So as we can see, this is H6664, right? And what it says, Zadok. So this word, when you put the two words together, you get Melchizedek, right? As we seen what it said, Malak is king, Zadok is righteousness. So when you put Melchizedek together, it's king of righteousness, all right? I stated before, when we talk about the Hebraic state of mind dealing with royalty and priesthood, you have to be born in that lineage. So you have to be a son of Adam in order to be a priest king, right? So let's get down into the word put together in its entirety, right? So in its completion. So as we see, this is the Greek. This is why you see the G right here. It stands for Greek, right? 3198. What does it say? Melchizedek of Hebrew origin, H4442, what I just showed you, and Malak being king, right? So when you put the two words Malak and Tezadok together, again, this is what you get. Melchizedek, king of righteousness, the king of Salem, and priest of the Most High, right? So let's just be honest, right? So before the so-called Canaanite language or Canaanite script came about, what was the name of the righteous, the king of righteousness, which would have been Adam? Melchizedek was not a word during that time. But you know what word was during that time? And even when they came up with the word Melchizedek, And even to this day, Adonzedek. What is that? Right? Priest of the Most High. Righteous priest of the Most High at that. Right? So when we understand certain information, we should start correcting ourselves. Right? So this is what I'm doing for myself, and hopefully for those who actually have understanding and don't have an issue with actually fact checking what I'm saying and breaking it down. Right? So when you talk about Melchizedek in the Bible, it's definitely in the Hebrew. As you see, it's definitely in the Hebrew script, because it's strictly for us, for real, because it's our priest coming through our lineage, our bloodline, right? So let me see. Hold on. That was the Greek transliteration, right? Translation of the word. So let's see what the Hebrew has to say. All right. So here's the Hebrew. Uh-oh. What that say? That say H for Hebrew 4442. The same from over here, right? Melchizedek, right? King of Salem and priest of the Most High, to whom Abraham paid tithes after the battle he fought to free Lot. All right. This can't be Yeshua, right? This can't be a spirit, because a spirit don't take the title of a king. The spirit don't take the title of a priest, but fleshly man has these titles, right? So let's go on to the next slide real quick and break this down, bring it back to the right side so we can see it, right? Let's see what the historians have to say, because their information is just as important as what we break down from our reading from other people's information. The etymology of Melchizedek, name Melchizedek. Josephus calls him righteous king. So again, we're seeing not just our ancestors speaking, not just our language and our script showing us what the word Melchizedek means, but we also see the historians letting us know that he was called a righteous king. And again, that title of king, right, and priest are given to men with flesh like you and me, right? Josephus, again, he says, Josephus himself in the Antiquities on Melchizedek, which means righteous king, in Targum, Onkelos, and in the Palestinian Targumic tradition, the fragment Targums, which leave the Hebrew name without interpretation, paraphrasing, and Melchizedek, king of Jerusalem. So now, when you do the research in the history, it's not a lot of, matter of fact, I don't know a king from Canaan, of the bloodline of Canaan, that ruled over Jerusalem that was named Melchizedek. I don't know of that particular king or where that king is. I have yet to read it in history or any sources anywhere. But when I go back into our information, our Jewish information, our Hebraic information, I start to see a lot of the information come together and make sense according to Melchizedek being a title to our grandfather Shem, right? Just like Adonzedek. We know that that's not the name of Adam, but that title, Adonzedek, was given to Adam. And I'm going to show you that, right, when we get to the order of the priesthood. All right? So what did William Horbury, in his work, Josephus and on Melchizedek, states that Josephus and Philo both seem, however, to represent in Greek an sonnet Aramaic explanation, Malak Sadaka. So what they're giving us is what they think is an Aramaic explanation, right? But we're going to see something different, which is found also in the Targums, P.S. Jonathan. These Greek Jewish interpretations probably contrast in linguistic background with that found in the roughly contemporary epistles to the Hebrews, king of righteousness, a seemingly Hebrew rather than Aramaic-based explanation. Ankylos and the fragment Targums give the Hebrew name without interpretation, as noted already. So again, when these people first come across the information, their understanding is something completely different than what it actually is, right? And so that same thought process and how they come across some information and say this is what it is and this is what it ain't. This is what they did with the title Melchizedek, whether it was done ignorantly or on purpose, right? It was put out and it was taught to us in that religious state of mind as if Melchizedek is Yahushua, aka, as the world call him, Jesus. When it don't make no sense, because during the time that this title came about, Yeshua wasn't in the flesh. So this title couldn't be his. It couldn't be his until he came into the flesh. This is when the title was given to him. So that point of understanding needs to be taken into consideration, because a lot of people like to say, well, no, that's the spirit of, that's Jesus. Well, the spirit is now drinking wine and eating bread. From what I understand, the spirit don't need no food. Food is for us in the flesh. Right? So hold on. Let's get to this priestly order, and then I'm gonna shut it down. Right? I think this is the most important aspect of my PowerPoint anyway. So let's deal with it. Order of the priesthood. Abraham stands next to Shem. When you look at the patriarchal breakdown of the priests in our lineage, you'll see Adam being the first. You'll see Shem in there as well, right? Because you got to understand, and I'm going to get to it very next. Abraham stands next to Shem in the patriarchal order of the priesthood and would surely have received the priesthood from Shem. But Jewish teachings say Abraham received priesthood from Melchizedek. Throughout my PowerPoint, I will show and prove that Shem is Melchizedek, right? So what do it say here? Let me blow it up a little bit. All right. Okay, so let's see what the scriptures have to say. All right. This is Genesis 9:26, and it reads, and he said, blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So this right here is telling us right here off the rip that Shem is the priest of the Most High. He didn't say, blessed be the God, blessed be the Lord God of Ham or Cam, nor Japhet or Japhet. He specifically called out Shem. Why is that? Because Shem kept the order. He kept the righteous way, right? Again, not right now. And he blessed be the Lord God Shem. So then we take it back up, right? It says what we read here is that after the flood, we see and understand very clearly that only Shem followed after Adoni, aka the Lord, aka Master. This would make him the first priest king after his father Noah, which is why we read that Canaan will be to Shem a servant, confirming his kingship and authority as priest. Right? Let's move on to the next point. Right? So what we have here, this is from Ancient Order of Melchizedek by Ken Johnson. Right? He says, first we need to see that there was a real person named Levi. Right? Not no fake person, not something made up. A real person named Levi. So what we're about to understand is how the Levitical priesthood came about, how the Aaronic priesthood came about, right? Real men. But when we go back to Melchizedek, according to the religious mindset, Melchizedek is not real. He's a spirit. How do a spirit establish a priesthood, fam? Nobody has yet to be able to address that for me, according to our scriptures or according to our ancient information.
That's right.
So listen, let's read. He says, he was one of the 12 sons of Jacob and became the father of the tribe of Levi, a real person, a real man, flesh. Only his descendants, that means that those that are born after him, can be Levitical priests. Boom, let's take it back. Adam being the first priest king. That means that his sons after him can only be priest kings, not random people around the world. Not just anybody who say, oh man, I like how y'all doing things. Let me be a priest like you. That's not how it works. It's a bloodline connection. Just like our kingship, bloodline connection. This is why Yeshua was able to fall into both of them with no problems. Why? Because he of the blood of the righteous one, which was Adam, that was created first. This is where we get the understanding of building an altar without cut stones. This is where we get the understanding of actually sacrificing on that altar. This is where we get atonement from. All these things that I'm speaking of, Adam did it without direction. He did it without being told to do these things. This is why he became the first priest. But again, if you don't have access to this information, you would just say, well, Yashar, you're just preaching to me. Where it's at? I'm going to show you. Right? Only his descendants can be Levitical priests. So there is a priestly order of Levi. Levi's son was Kohath. Kohath's son was Amram. Amram had two sons, Moses and Aaron. Aaron became the first high priest of the nation of Yahshua after the Egyptian Exodus. Only direct descendants of Aaron can be Aaronic priest. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it now? How we making sense of it? Levi, the Levitical priesthood. Aaron, the Aaronic priesthood. Right? It's not Shem. Right? It would have been the Adonzedek priesthood that Shem fell under, not Melchizedek, because again, Melchizedek is a Canaanite title. It's not our Hebraic title, as I'm going to show you, according to our scripts, right? He says, so there is a priestly order of Aaron. There is also a priestly order of Melchizedek. And why would that be? Because Melchizedek is a real man who has sons, and that man's name is Shem. This is why the sons of Shem became the Levitical priest, right? So now a lot of brothers and a lot of Christians don't deal with the book of Enoch, but I do. And some of my brothers and sisters do as well, right? So let's get into it. This is the book of Enoch, chapter 16, 11 through 15. Let's read what he says. He says, in Adonzedek, king of Jerusalem, the same was Shem. He telling us plain as day who Adonzedek, aka Melchizedek, is by name. But brothers will dismiss this and say the Most High ain't got nothing to do with this information. And I would question, are you really dealing with the Most High in his righteous spirit? Or are you dealing with man's in his interpretation and understanding? You ain't got to answer me because I'm not the person you answer. You answer yourself and the Most High, right? It says, the same was Shem, and went out with his men to meet Abraham and his people with bread and wine. And they remained together in the valley of Malach. And Adonzedek blessed Abraham. And Abraham gave him a tenth from all that he had, brought from the spoil of his enemies. For Adonzedek was a priest before Yahweh. So now, why would, because I don't see nowhere in the scriptures where we as fleshly men are given any type of goods or any type of riches or spoils to spirits. What are they going to do with it, fam? What? Okay, so we give them a pot of gold. Where they going to spend that in the spirit realm, fam? Well, okay. So we give them some wine. Where they about to drink that at, fam? In the spirit realm, yo? Like, where's this currency going to be spent? Like, what need do the spirit being need with any spoils from men? It don't make sense according to our Hebraic thought process. nor our ancient ancestors' information. But when you're dealing with the religious state of mind, oh man, we can spin in the spirit realm. Abraham did give and receive bread and wine from a spirit that don't need bread and wine to sustain themselves. But we need food here. We definitely need water. Spirits don't need either. So I'm just giving you something to consider, family. When you're talking about Melchizedek, when you're talking about Adonzedek, when you're talking about our grandfather Shem, right? Let's keep reading. He says, this is verse 13. He says, and all the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah who were there with their servants approached Abraham and begged of him to return them their servants, whom he had made captive, and to take unto himself all the property. So in other words, the Sodom and Gomorrah said, look, man, give us back our people and take all of our riches. And listen to what our grandfather had to say to those individuals. And Abraham answered the king of Sodom, saying, as the Lord liveth, whom created heaven and earth, and whom redeemed my soul from all affliction, and whom delivered me this day from my enemies, and gave them into my hand, I will not take anything belonging to you, that you may not boast tomorrow, saying, Abraham became rich from our property that he saved. It's the same thought process with this reparations. Give me some. Can I have some, please, master? Put your hands down. Close your damn mouth. Stop asking for handouts from our enemies so they can boast and talk shit. Allow our power to do what he said he gonna do. Have some patience, Israel. Have some patience. Patience is a virtue. Our ancestors told us that in our scriptures. Did you forget? If you did, I'm here to remind you. Have some patience. Make sure everything that you're dealing with is right, because if you come back right now, majority of us ain't going to be found in the book of life. Majority of us ain't going to even be able to stand in his presence face to face because of how wicked we are. So if we can't stand in the high priest face to face, what makes you think we're going to be able to stand in the Father's face?
Breaking up, brother.
Let alone even hear the Father's voice. I don't think y'all understand.
You breaking up.
How powerful of Abba is. I think
General, you breaking up.
I think he lightweight or something.
Yeah, you broke up.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
You getting it in. Shit, I was enjoying that.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, and I just want to say I agree with what he said. I just want to read some. This is called the book of Kivo Kadash. Hebrews 7:17, for it is declared, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. A priest in Hebrew Israelite Judaic belief system. It's a chi, and male means king, Zedek means righteousness, what he said. And this would make him say it's right, because we have groups today right now that are orders. There have been many orders that have come into the existence, self-designated themselves as righteous, authentic mystery schools, although none can substantiate by way of lineage or genetic proof. So it's even groups out here that's going by the order of Melchizedek. So I agree with that what he said on that. I'm gonna let the elder speak on it.
Yeah, I agree with
I
the
agree
also,
too.
but I also agree that in 7th chapter of Hebrews, that is talking about Christ. I believe he's of the same order of Melchizedek. Rather, is talking about Shem or not. Ultimately, Christ's priesthood is not of a Levitical priest order, but it's of the same order of Melchizedek, a priest forever, without end. So,
yeah, my book, that book actually agrees with you on Jesus was a part of the
fam, I can't
New
even
Testament. Can you hear me?
hear you now.
Okay, my bad. The AC on. Yeah, I said the book that I was just reading, it actually agrees with you on that, and it said that Jesus was a part of the Melchizedek order.
Agree, 100%. It clearly states that in Hebrews, but because I don't think we're going to be dealing with the Levitical priests anymore, nor are we going to be dealing with a third temple. That temple is our body. We are the temple of the Holy Spirit. We are the temple of Christ. We're the temple of God. We are that temple. So whatever temple there's going to be is already here, like the kingdom is already here. When the peace and the King of Glory returns, uh, we will be there already worshiping our King, the King of Kings. So pray he comes soon. And there will never be a time, majority, no matter when he comes, the majority of us is lost. The 2/3 are already lost. We know that. The elect is only 1/3 of Israel. So we know that. It doesn't matter if he come tomorrow or if he come 20 years from now. It's only a small group of us. But that's still a large number. Because straight and narrow is the way, a few there be that will find it. Broad and wide is the way of destruction, and many that way shall find it. So, but even in that few, that 1/3, we know it's millions because of that multitude that came after the 144,000. So it's still going to be millions of us. It's just that in comparison to those that are lost, it's going to be a smaller number that's going to be saved at the end. So just pray that we are all accepted, that we're deemed worthy, you know, that we walk in the faith of Christ and we keep the commandments. That's the way through.
So, can I ask you, why do you think that it was put in a way that they made it seem like that it was a person?
What you mean? Who, Melchizedek?
Yeah, because so a lot of people I've heard to think that Melchizedek is actually a person that had no mother or father.
Well, that right there tells you that he's not a normal man, because normal people have mothers and fathers, right? That in itself, no end of days, no beginning of days, but a priest forever. So, you know, that in itself tells you that he's not a normal uh, um, a normal person. So a person that doesn't have a beginning of days or an end of days. So in terms of mankind, we know the Most High, before anything was created, Christ was made, because all things were made by the word and for the word. So, and that is the word of God. So, and Christ is that word. So everything that exists Whether seen or unseen. It was created by him and for him. So God's creation, everything that was created for him and by him. So he's before. He has no beginning of days, nor does he have an end. When he said that Alpha and Omega, which he didn't say, that's Greek, but he said Alapa, and Thawa. When he said that he's saying he's the first and the last. Nothing existed before him or after him that he doesn't bring into existence, seen or unseen. So there's some things that he created that we can't see. I don't know if you wear glasses, you go into a store and put on a pair of Polaroids and look at that chart. When you look at that chart before putting on those glasses, you don't see, you see what they want. But after you put on those glasses, the fact that they Polaroid, it allows you to see what you're not able to see without Polaroid. That's the same thing when you start talking about the red line, that seeing in the infrared spectrum. We can't see in the infrared spectrum without some type of organism, some type of thing that allows us to see in the infrared. But once we get the right proper stuff, camera, telescope, microscope, once we get that, then we can see things that we normally do not see with our eyes. So yeah, there's a world that exists in a world. You know, I just found out and listening to Billy Carson, in China, there's a great big hole in the earth, like miles wide and miles deep. And it's a whole nother civilization down there. When you go down there, you land on a beach. There's water, there's a beach, and there's an ecosystem with animals living under the earth, in the earth. And I'm not talking about a simple mile. I'm talking about miles deep. And got trees, birds, animals, even got light down in the earth in a different ecosystem, surviving and thriving. And they say the same thing is in Antarctica. I don't know how true that is, but they say it. That's a lot to think about, man, if it's true.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't even explored the deepest oceans on this planet, man. They can't go down. They got no submarine that can go that deep without being crushed in its own weight. And a human being can't survive that deep. He explodes. Man, it's just mind-boggling, man. I mean, got no understanding for it.
Yeah, true that. I mean, you can on the speaker last whatever else you want to say. I guess the show about to end. Everybody gone now.
Yeah, everybody gone. I just realized y'all were doing this.
Yeah.
I thought earlier JJ ended the show, man. He got upset. Told Kareem to end it. I thought y'all ended it. So,
Yeah. They had a little show earlier, and then it came back on.
okay. Yeah. Who was that was talking, man? That I was enjoying that conversation.
That was your General Yashar.
Okay.
Somebody asked, Davina asked, where does it say in the OT that Melchizedek had no mother or father? Show and tell.
Read I believe it's the 15th chapter. I'm not sure. of Genesis. Let me see if I can find it. Abraham exceeding. Behold.
I see one in Hebrew that it says, hold on, let me see. Hebrew
It
7
should say it
3.
in Hebrews too.
Hebrew 7 3. Hebrew 7.
Away. Trying to see when the battle of the kings.
Okay, let's see this. Okay, it said Hebrews 7 3. Melchizedek has no mother or father. He has no family line. His days had no beginning. His life has no end. He remains a priest forever. In this way, he is like the Son of God.
Right.
Hebrews 7 3.
And the confirmation is in Genesis, and I'm trying to, it says, promise Abraham, Sodom and Gomorrah. Things before Abraham.
I think it said Genesis 14, 18 to 20.
Let me see. I'm at, okay, came to pass the days of King, the king's tide. Okay, this is coming up. Let me see. Sodom, the king of Gomorrah. What is his name? Melchizedek. Okay, let me see. And the king of Sodom went out to meet after they returned the daughters of whatever that is. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was a priest of the Most High God, and he blessed them and said, "Blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which have delivered thy enemies unto thy hand." And the king of Sodom give the persons in greed. I'm just reading through it. Abraham said unto the king of Sodom, lift that up. Okay. I know I've read it. It didn't say it there though, but I know I've read it. Believe the Lord. Chaldeans, take heed. Well, you read it in Hebrew, so there's definitely one place where it says it. And I thought for sure it was in here. Because I don't even see here where Abraham blessed them with the 10th. And I know it's here. Is it too dark or what? What's going on here? That's the blessing.
Yo, Shalom. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, he was just trying to find a part. We were saying we would agree with you. I had wrote a book, read a book called Kivo Kadash that said that it was an order, and that people today actually have things called the Order of the Melchizedek, but many I don't can't prove their bloodline to it, but they still made an order down.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know what I'm saying? The main question is like what the brother posted in the chat. Shout out to Akmalak. It's one of our brothers. The thing is this: the reason why Melchizedek don't have a mother or father, right, is because it's a title. A title don't have a mother or father. Just like a king don't have a mother or father, right? The word king don't have a mother or father unless it's attached to a living person, right? So yeah, you talk about the priestly order, the order of Melchizedek. That's a title, fam.
You know what? I agree because that's kind of like when they say that King David will reign the throne forever, and people think that he's coming back when he's actually talking about his seed, his bloodline, and the order of kingship that's going to come down.
Yeah, but that's still talking about Christ too. Because even David was the only one of the kings that was king, prophet, and priest. That's why David wasn't wrong when he went and ate showbread.
Well, you know, people.
But what you're saying
like
is correct, General. What you're saying is correct. But Abraham still gave a tithe to this individual. So he was an individual as well. And this individual presented Abraham with bread and wine, the same very substance that Christ presented to his disciples, bread and wine. So, and that offering is a priestly offering, bread and wine. So, but it goes on and talks about not just the fact that he didn't have a mother or father, he didn't have a beginning of days or an end of days.
Right, that's a priest order. That don't have nothing to do with a man.
Right. Thou art a priest, but it's still that prophecy is still pointing toward an individual that's going to fulfill that prophecy. See, and that being fulfilled in Hebrews chapter 7, who it is.
See, that righteous order, it had to be so that our Mashiach could fall into that order by blood.
Right.
You
but it
understand
had
what I'm saying? So
it had to separate him from the Levites.
Right. So what I'm trying to get the brothers Akmalak to understand is when he reading what he read in the New Testament, it has to be read with understanding. You can't read it word for word and for face value. The Most High ain't giving you that understanding is because you're probably not digging deep. You're probably not searching for it like that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, like this brother here, Smash, said Melchizedek worship a Canaanite god. Was bring out the source.
No.
I don't have a problem with dealing with the information as long as it's backed by a source. If you just talking to me, because you see what I did, right? If you just talking to me, or you can't point me to the source where this is actually written at, where I can read what you're talking about, then you just making stuff up, in my opinion.
Yeah. See,
how y'all doing?
Let me add to
how
this,
y'all doing on the panel?
Good. Let me add to this real quick before you go. A lot of people say that because he's the king of Salem. Salem is within the boundaries of what is so-called Canaanite land. But see, originally that land was not intended for Canaan. Canaan took possession of that land. Canaan was given the land of Morocco by the Most High God. But he usurped the land, and since that land that they call Canaan, he usurped that. According to the book of Asher and Jubilees, he was given the land on the west coast of Africa. But he went, that's his nature. He went about his own and took this land that is in the Nile Valley region. And the Most High never intended for him to do that. But he did it. So since then, we called it the land of Canaan. But it is really not his land. So when God told Abraham to go, God was telling Abraham to reclaim the land that was intended for him and his seed from the beginning. But in order to take it, he had what actually moved him out of the land.
So it seemed like you made that up, good brother. And I just want to put forth some things, not to come in the spirit of debate, but I definitely love building with my Hebrew brothers on the subject. That's why. Yeah, this Smash. What's up with you, boy?
What's up, brother? What's up?
What's up with all y'all? What's up with everybody? Like I said,
peace.
I can show it to you in the book of Jubilees, sir.
Word up. And I'm gonna show you some things, and hopefully we'll be willing to look at what I want to present in a different light. Not to be I don't want to be like disrupt. You know, I look at things from literary criticism and, you know, biblical studies. I'm not here to disrupt nothing nobody believe, but when we go in on Melchizedek, we do find history, and we can present sources to show that he was a Canaanite god. Even if we come to, not Melchizedek, but he worshiped a Canaanite god, Elyon. If we go into the sources, what we'll find out is even the Bible tells us, if we looking at it chronologically, that Abraham had not made covenant with Yahweh, or however we have that. There was no covenant made at the time that Elyon, or at the time that Melchizedek presented Abraham with a blessing. I think that was Genesis 14:8. At that time, there was no covenant yet. So how could he be a priest of Yahweh?
The covenant was established in chapter 12 and then reestablished in chapter 14.
So you're saying it's reestablished, but show how it was established
in chapter 12. It was given. He called him out and established the covenant with him in chapter 12.
But you know,
chapter 13.
The truth is it happens in chapter 14.
So in chapter 12, it says, now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house.
That's not the covenant. That's not the covenant.
No, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Because the covenant is coming right here. It says, I give you the land, and there an altar of the Lord which appeared unto him. And he removed thence unto the mountain and to the east of Bethel and pitched his tent. This is the establishment when the Lord said, I will bless them that bless thee and curse them that curse thee. That is the covenant.
So, well, okay, I would be willing to accept that, but you have to be willing to also look at what the text is really telling you. What is Bethel?
The house. Bethel is the
house of what? El, exactly.
No, because see, actually, the word Bethel is a mistranslation.
No, it's not. Man, stop doing all of that. No, it's not.
Do you speak Hebrew, brother?
Let me speak for a moment, because as soon as I started speaking, you start speaking over me. Why are you doing that? Let me get my bars off.
I understand.
Let me get mine off. But I asked you to correct me. We're talking about Beth El. It means the house of El. So what we have to understand is that El was already a god at the time when Abraham was pitching the tent. Why Abraham got a tent, but El got a house? You got to look at what they're showing.
This is being translated this way. That word Beth El does not belong there. Okay? Because it was no
correct. We can all go into the Hebrew right now.
There was no E in the Hebrew language. In the
Right.
original
So
Hebrew
so you saying
language,
L didn't exist then, is what you saying.
no,
Like you ain't
not in
making no sense
Hebrew.
even to the people who know
It
Hebrew.
existed.
Nah,
Listen,
what he's
not
saying
in
is
Hebrew.
L, right,
No
is the
such word
Canaanite
as
dialect,
El
right?
in ancient
And
Hebrew.
all is what
No
we use.
Ben
This is why
is
you see
Ba.
Aleph the way you see
Bathal.
Aleph. It's not
I,
Elef.
I, I
Right.
let the other brother talk,
Aleph, Aleph,
Apostle, 'cause I
Aleph
can't even hear
is
you.
not correct pronunciation. Is Alapa.
Right,
You're
right.
not
It's
making no sense.
Alapa.
So here's the question. Where is Bethel? You know, Bethel, regardless of
I'm
what you're saying,
telling
this
you,
was a place in
this
the
is
Bible,
being
You
correct?
have to understand,
This is not in
understand.
the original Hebrew.
Right.
Bethel is not
What you
in the
saying?
original Hebrew.
Hey, you sure?
What's up?
I don't understand. Explain. Help
The
me
word
understand his
I can
objection.
show you.
What is he?
If
I
I
don't
share
even
my
understand.
screen,
What's his
I
problem?
can
I
show
What's the
haven't even got
argument?
to no
that there's
objection
no
yet.
E.
Apostle just opposing me on anything I say. Now he's even saying that Bethel is not Bethel when we all know it is.
It's
Like,
not
let's
though.
be
Doc.
serious.
It's not.
I read
That's
Hebrew.
a
Like,
miss.
let's do it.
It's
Let's
a
do it. Put up the
Hey, hold
interlinear
on.
mistranslation.
Wait,
Bible.
time out. Before we do all of
I'm gonna
that, hold
share my
on.
screen.
Hey,
Let me
hold on,
share my
Elder,
screen.
Elder Apostle. No
Yeah.
disrespect, Elder. Real quick. I want to know what his objection is, because I don't just want y'all arguing over biblical
I'm not gonna
translation.
argue. I'm just trying to
But
Thank
make
I
my
you.
just want
Thank
to
point.
you,
know.
good brother.
I want to know what his argument is, though, Elder. Like
I'm gonna share my screen.
all respect to
Thank
you.
you.
I just want to. I have no idea what he's trying to argue about right now, and I really want to. I want to know. I want to
I
know how
appreciate
any of this
that.
is relevant.
Thank you. Well, I was just coming in to say that Melchizedek was actually a Canaanite god, or could have worshipped a Canaanite god, and he gave Abraham blessings of El Elyon, which was a god in that time that he worshipped. And so, what I pointed out was that there was the real covenant. He said it was a reestablishment of the covenant, but the actual covenant happened after. Even if you wanted to say it happened in Genesis 12, my point is there was no priesthood established just from two verses prior to where one could come and bless Abraham with the blessings of Yahweh. Because Yahweh was just now setting up his covenant with his progenitor, with Abraham. That's all I
Yahweh
was
is
saying.
listen. Yahweh is a mispronunciation of a Hebrew word.
That's what I'm
Just
saying. Why
stop
you keep
beating us,
doing that?
man.
That don't got
Hey,
nothing to do with what I just
can I
said.
respond? Can I try,
Can you
Elder?
see my screen? Can y'all
All
see
right.
my screen?
That
Can you
got
see my
anything to
screen?
do with what I just said, y'all?
Listen, can you see my screen? This here. Can you see this Hebrew? This ancient Hebrew. Can y'all
I
see
can
it?
see it a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah, I can
here
see it,
down at the
Apostle.
bottom,
I can see it.
at the bottom is the Masoretic, modern Hebrew. Up top is ancient Hebrew, the language of Abraham.
What's this got to do with what we talking about?
I'm trying to tell you, these words you're using, El, Yahweh, these Bethel, these are all mistranslated, misspoken words. They do
I just
not exist.
okay. Let's leave it at that. Like we don't
They
have to
do
go off
not
on a
exist.
tangent. That's not what we're
Listen,
arguing
I'm
about.
not going off on a tangent.
Just
Just like you
disagree
correct
because
these brothers.
I don't agree with that.
No,
But we don't. Why are we changing the show to what that's about? At least the topic. Let's talk about Melchizedek.
I'm only trying to correct the information because we never called on a God named El until we were misled and took on the Canaanites' gods.
What does Elohim mean?
We never worship.
So Elohim don't mean Elohim either, huh?
Right, it's Elohim. Elohim. We never worship El.
All right, well, so if you want to play semantics,
Yahweh, it's not semantics.
it is semantics. Trying to say we say it a
It's
different
not.
way.
Do you correct brothers with the method when they go wrong? Don't you correct them?
Not over semantics. Not if someone said hetep or hotep, we know what they mean. You see what I mean?
Listen, if I called him Acer, you would say, no, it's a song. That's what you would do. If I call her ass ISIS, you would say, no. She said. That's what you would do.
So I think this is the way you avoid learning, good brother apostle. I think this is how you avoid learning. Let me get one thing off and see if you know this or not. Let me get one question off. Do you know that Semitic was a Canaanite god? Yes or no?
Hey, can I interact with the brother elder apostle?
Yeah,
Please
yeah,
do.
I want to hear this question.
I
Yeah.
asked you, did you know Sedek was a Canaanite god?
Sedek? I don't know
Yeah.
nothing about Sedek.
Okay, see, that's what I want to enlighten you with. Melchizedek could be my king Sedek. Sedek was one of the sons of Elyon. Okay, one of the sons of this is just.
Elyon was not my God. That's a false deity.
But it was Melchizedek. It was Melchizedek's God. It was Melchizedek's God. It says so in the Bible.
No, Melchizedek.
Elder apostle, please. Can I, elder, please?
Hey,
Let's
can we
go.
go?
Let him
Hold
get
on.
in.
Somebody need to moderate. Hold on. It's one person talking, then the next person talking.
Let somebody else go to it.
Somebody want to ask me a question.
No, I just want to deal with the brother and his questions. Is that okay? I know you interacting with him, but
yeah, you can. Yeah, you
all right.
can.
I'm not trying to be rude. All right. So first, I want to deal with when you say Melchizedek possibly could have worshipped El or El Elyon. Where are you getting that from? Where's that understanding come from?
So it comes from biblical sources and extra biblical sources. From what we can, let me just expound and just show you. From what we conclude from the biblical sources is that the covenant was not established yet. But what my good brother Apostle just said is it was reestablished after he met Melchizedek. But what we get from extra biblical sources is the names that were used in the original Hebrew were actually names used in the area of that time. And since Abraham was wandering into a new area, he ran up on the dude who was cool. He was a dude named Melchizedek who worshiped El Elyon. And so for the extra biblical sources, we find El and Elyon as their own deities in Canaanite texts. Specifically the sapphire.
Yeah, bet I'm familiar with it. I just wanted to hear you say that stupidness. So let's kill it. Number one, the first problem you have is associating every tribe from Canaan with the same worship practices. Okay, so I won't argue with Elder Apostle about whether or not they worshiped El. I'm gonna say they did worship El. They just didn't worship him by that name. The concept of El in that pantheon is he's the highest. He's the elite. And so when we get to the concept of El Elyon in the Hebrew, the concept is not El Elyon, the Canaanite god. The concept is El Elyon, God Most High, which we all know what it means in the Hebrew, like in the biblical Hebrew. So the problem is making a false equivocation or false correlation without any true connection. And as a matter of fact, if we really study that time period, we know that there is a huge discrepancy and distinction between the Western and the Eastern Syro-Palestinian. So I'm trying to understand, where do you get to, what gives you that smoking gun ideology of a people group who some people will even say we can't even find in antiquity, right? Now I can show you who they are in antiquity, but what do you have? What source do you have that says this people group, this specific people group of the Israelites was worshiping El Elyon or El, the Canaanite deity? Or is this just a theory?
Nah, it actually is backed up by a lot of research and sources. If we look into the Ammonite
now, hold on, wait, time out. Before we go on the rant, remember what my question was. I want to know what you have that says that these proto-Israelites or these Israelites were actually worshiping El or El Elyon. I'm very familiar with all the literature, and trust me, I know that it doesn't say that. So that's why I'm asking you, where does the literature?
I never said Israelites. I said Canaanites. Remember?
Okay, so and I agree with you. Hold on, watch this. Hold on, and I agree with you that you did have Canaanites worshiping that God. Now, which tribe of the Canaanites was worshiping those gods?
The Amorites and Ammonites. But specifically, if you look at Amorite history, the reason why we got El at the end of like Daniel, even Israel at the end of the name, I'm sure it's not Israel Ashaya or whatever my good brother said. But even the reason why we got El is because actually before the Israelites came into the area, it was a whole bunch of El names already from the Ammonites. So they were particularly the people who worshipped El as the main deity. And what you said about Elyon was all the way incorrect. If you look into the language, Elyon meant the Most High prior to the Hebrew language. So he was. You even said he was there. The chief
nigga,
deity.
this is exactly. Hold on, listen. This is exactly what I said. You're repeating what I said, and then you're now making my point because you still aren't dealing specifically with which tribe, and especially if
I
you're
said the
saying it's the
Ammonite. I
watch
said
this. So if you
Ammonite.
say,
Did
hold
you
on,
hear
listen,
that?
listen. Hold on, everybody, relax. What I'm talking about is listen. What I'm talking about is proving that those are the Israelites, the Ammonites and the
I never
Amorites.
said that was the Israelites. That's you
So then
making
what?
that.
Hold on. No, you
know
are.
who
Hold on, Elder, please. Elder, I'm almost done. By implying that these people of the Bible were worshiping the God of the Canaanites, and then I asked you which tribe, and you say the Amorites and the Ammonites or whatever you said, that's implying that that's the Israelites.
Oh, so
See,
you
I
might not
do
know.
this.
You
Hold
might
on,
not know
well, no,
what
you might
God
not
did.
understand. I do this for real. So
Or
let's get to the
if you
point.
do this for real, well, let
All
me
right,
ask
so
you a
hold on. So
question.
don't ask me no questions. Now
Oh,
you
well, let me,
listen. Now you
tell me
listen.
when I
Hold
can
on,
speak.
listen.
Tell me when I can speak.
Your
Let
question.
me answer your question, bro. Relax for a second. All right.
I thought you answered. I thought she was talking about let me answer your question, but it's all
Yeah,
good.
I'm
Go
talking
ahead.
to, I'm talking to him. Let him, once you ask the question, let him answer it, okay? Give him enough time.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Ask your question.
No, I didn't have a
No,
question. I
you
was
asked
supposed
the
to answer.
question.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'm
bet.
gonna
All
answer.
right, bet. Let's get to it. So are you saying then that these Amorites or the other tribe that you said, are they the Israelites?
No, they got took over and killed by the Israelites. This is what I told you, and let me
Okay, so
expound on.
wait, so then
I'm
back.
not finished, bro. Don't
Hold
cut
on,
me
bro.
off.
Hold on.
Wait,
Why
Hold
you
on.
cut me off? I'm not
You
finished
answered the
answering.
question. Hold on, you answered the
No,
question.
I'm not. You
You
already asked the
No,
question.
you can't
Stop.
dictate the way he's going to answer it. Let him build on why he's saying this. Okay, thank you. And then you go.
go ahead, bro.
Okay, the error you made was saying that I said some people. Thank you. You made an error saying that I said some people worshipped Elyon. I didn't say that. I said that Abraham was blessed by Melchizedek, who is one person who was a priest of the Most High God, Elyon. That's what I said. You're trying to change it to me saying that all the Israelites worship the same God that Melchizedek worship, and that ain't what I'm saying. And I wanted to be clear on that. Thank you.
Appreciate you. So that's not what I'm saying. So let me slow this way down for you. Right? Here's what I'm saying. Any association that you're trying to make with Melchizedek worshiping the god of the Canaanites, which would have been their specific deity or their pantheon of deities, does not line up with the biblical narrative. That's the point that I'm making. Because their even Abraham's prostration or Abraham's subjugation to Melchizedek is from a priesthood order of just God Most High, not the Canaanite pantheon. Right. And this is what we have to understand. Even when you study in ancient literature, the thing that makes these people group different is that they are now introducing a monolatric worship. They are not worshiping a pantheon of gods. So we cannot say that this is the Canaanite belief system. That's the error that you're making, because the Canaanite belief system is a pantheistic belief system. And that's why Elder Apostle is so upset. Right? The concept of trying to associate these people in their worship just because everybody, and you even said this, everybody in that area used the name El at different points in time. That does not mean that they are even worshiping or remotely practicing the same type of practices, same type of laws, same type of customs. Right? So there's nothing that you're gonna prove or bring out that proves that or attacks that. So I would like to get to the covenant question or the covenant conversation that y'all was having.
I can prove that easily. Is that whose Wikipedia page is that up?
Go ahead.
Whose page is that on the screen? Would you allow me to? All you
Can
gotta
I
do is
say
do
this
it.
before y'all go on? I just listen. Can I just establish this before y'all go on?
Go ahead, Apostle.
All right. Okay. First of all, the Most High in Hebrew is I La Ya Awana. That's how you say the Most High. The word God is Hala, AHLA. The word gods is Hala. Alahayam. You have to put the YAM on the end in order to make it plural as to gods. Period. Now, the whole point of my statement when I'm stating this is because too many people get things confused. And the reason why you get it confused Smash, Sonetta, is because y'all go into this book and you think you understand, like you can read it, like you just pick up a book out of a library and read it. But this book tells us, but God has revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, yea, the deep things of God. For what man knoweth the things of man, save the Spirit of man which is in him? Even so, the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. Now we have received not the spirit of this world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know all things that are freely given to us of God. In other words, if you don't have the Spirit, forget about understanding what you read, because you can only understand it through the Spirit. That's how the word is revealed. That's why you don't know about things like Bethlehem. That Bethel has nothing to do with the house of God in that sense, because there are no E letters in the original Hebrew. So therefore, you cannot, out of the Tetragrammaton, the YHWH, spell Yahweh. You need a E letter in order to do that.
You just cut in and didn't say nothing.
Let me finish. If you know,
Cut in and didn't say nothing. Me and the brother was building. You ain't said nothing yet.
No, hold on. I gave him permission, but do wrap it up because they was trying to do.
This is what we were talking about when I was interrupted with him and you asked to build. This is what me and him, I was talking to.
You ain't making no sense. You act like you need an E to say L. You don't need an E to say live. Everybody know that.
Let him finish up, because while you cutting in, it's going to take a little longer. Let him wrap up.
You do need an E. You need a V to say Vav. Vav is not part of the ancient Hebrew language, but it exists in the modern language. The word you, ooh, there's no U in the ancient language. It's a W. It's a Y. That's why you don't know what you're talking about. And many people misquote the nectar neuter, and you correct them by that. You go and you correct them. That's not how you say that. That's not what they're saying. Ain't that what you did to Kemet? That you told him he didn't know what he was talking about because he disagreed with E. Wallace Bud. He wasn't pronouncing it right. So here I'm telling you, because you don't know Hebrew, not ancient Hebrew, anyway, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, let them go back to finishing their bill.
Thank you, Apostle. And thank everybody for letting me speak on the panel. You know, we just chilling. Hey, but what was family just saying before that? Because we was going and Apostle just threw me off. So if you don't mind,
I forgot, King. I ain't even gonna lie.
You were saying something about this that's up on the screen. You were saying who put this on the screen here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, man. So look, it's this. Who controlling the screen right now? Do me a favor. Go to Google if you don't mind. And I just want to show y'all something. I ain't making this up, man. It's just so.
I'm not saying. Hold on. I'm not.
Put it in the back chat. Put it in the back chat, in the private chat, and I can pull it up for you.
Oh, it's just one word that you gotta Google. It was gonna take you right to a source on everything I was trying to show us, but it was the word Sedek for the Canaanite god, so that we could get some.
Hold on, but our conversation is not about Sedek. We talking about El right now.
Oh, okay. We talking about El. I thought we was talking about Melchizedek.
Nah. See that, and see. So here's the issue, right? So let's say even if you find something, I'm trying to be cool. The issue with that, once again, is the correlation that you're trying to make. There is no proof or any type of evidence for the correlation. And just so I'm clear, because maybe I'm wrong then, it is your attestation that Melchizedek was worshiping the Canaanite pantheon of gods, correct?
Yeah, Melchizedek
Right,
was. I
right.
didn't say
So,
Abraham was though.
right. So here's the issue with that, even though, right? There's a possibility, because I don't know what source, and we'll see what source you're gonna bring up. But the possibility is that you are conflating the title of Melchizedek with the person of Melchizedek that we would be dealing with, right? So there is an intake in antiquity. There's the concept of titles that they give. So, for instance, if we're dealing with the Assyrian time period or the Persian time period, you go into things like the Darius or Darius. You had some people who were Cyrus, things like that. There is this understanding of the concept of Melchizedek or just this king of peace, right? So I need to know that you're showing me the biblical Melchizedek actually worshiping the pantheon of Canaanite gods. So let's get it. I just wanted to make that
All right.
clear.
So let's since y'all know Hebrew so well, where do we get, besides the biblical scripture, where do we get King of Peace from the name Melchizedek? See, it says King of Peace after his name, but if you translate the name Melchizedek, it's not Malki Salem. Or
Hold on.
Nah,
See, if you was
it
the
would
hold
be
on,
my it
Pastor,
would be my
Apostle. Let me handle this because I started this whole PowerPoint off with just that, and that's the whole reason why I went to the etymology of the title, right? So to answer your question clearly, with a source, right, dealing with the language, as you can read this title, the screen, right, from the
we
lexicon.
can't see your screen. We can't see your screen.
All right, well, when Sister Show when she hit it, then y'all can see it.
Hey, and I pulled up late. You sure? I didn't know that you was talking about the whole etymology and the evolution of the title conversation. So that's what's up.
Yeah, this PowerPoint I put together, dealing with this whole topic.
Right. And it's powerful too, man. It's really powerful.
You got me, Sister Karima. Screen sharing. See, I had brought this out earlier, and I started with the Hebrew, right? And it didn't give us no Canaanite breakdown at all.
My brother, did you go into the Canaanite languages?
Why would I go into the Canaanite languages when I don't deal with Canaanites? I'm dealing with my Hebrew. Hold on. I don't deal with Canaan information. I'm dealing with the Hebrew. This is where my ancestors' information come from. This is not Canaan's information. So I need not to go to Canaan's information. I only need to bring out what my people was dealing with. What you're bringing out to me is Canaan's information. So you probably need to do that. I don't have a problem with setting down, watching you break it down as well. I won't have a problem with that. But no, I didn't do that. And I'm dealing with the actual information from the actual source that we're talking about, which is the Bible.
So in that breakdown that you give us, how did the name Melchizedek mean King of Peace?
When she allowed my screen to share, I'm gonna let the information speak, and I'm gonna give
your
you my
screen up there. Can you hear me?
It's up there, you sure?
I mean, nobody say nothing, so I didn't know. My bad, sister.
I was trying to let y'all cook.
My bad. I was looking for my phone. I thought somebody said something.
Yeah.
Hey, do this brother debate? You sure? You debate, bro?
No, I put it together for a debate, but you know what I'm saying, it never happened.
No, I mean the brother on the panel, does he debate? Do you debate?
I'm willing to. I did Kemen on trial back in the day. Remember that old Farnetta debate?
Okay, bet you, yeah. Oh, this Smash. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what's up with y'all, man? It's all good. I watch y'all shit.
Okay.
I watch y'all.
This is the Archer, man. Come on.
I'm the Magi Archer, but y'all know the Hebrews always used to come get protection from the Magi. We could go into that too. You know what I'm talking about? So it's all love. It's all love.
I ain't got no problem with the Magi, but you gonna get this work if you keep trying to make this correlation, though.
Come on, let's go. That's why I'm here, family. I want to see if y'all cooking.
So the correlation, the understanding of this, the word Melchizedek, right? According to the Hebrew, knock it off, guys. Knock it off. Knock it off. Listen, guys, you're making too much noise right now. Relax.
Them twins right there, bro.
So what we're talking about is this Hebraic thought process, not a Canaanite thought process or nobody else's, right? So you want to understand how we get the word Melchizedek. So you see right here on my screen where it says Melech, right? Melech means king in Hebrew, not Canaan, but Hebrew, right? So you see it right here in the Hebrew word study, transliteration, pronunciation, etymology, and grammar, king. Then you see right here in the Browns, Driver Briggs, right? The Old Testament Hebrew English lexicon from the actual root word, right? Which is 4427. What we're dealing with is 4428, right? So now let's move over a little bit. Let's move it over just a little bit, right? So you just seen king, right? So now you want to understand how we get king of righteousness, right? So now you see the word here, right? H6664, Zadok, right? Zadok. This is where you get Melchizedek from, brother. So when you put the words together, the two Hebrew words together, right? The two Hebrew words together, it becomes Melchizedek, king of righteousness, right? Right. So then,
Can I ask you a question real quick? Is that written with a tasad?
Excuse me?
That word you just said?
What word? What word? This word?
I can't see. I'm on my phone. Is it written with a TS or a TZ or just an S?
It's with a TS, brother.
Okay, thank you. You can keep going. I just wanted to get that.
Is it a point you want to make for that?
After you finish, I'm going to make the point, but I just wanted to know.
Go into the paleo.
All right, cool.
Let me pull the paleo.
So then, right? We take it to two places.
You got it, Elder Apostle, because I'm gonna step up.
Yeah, I got it.
Because he's gonna run y'all to the paleo, so y'all finna have to deal with that. I'm gonna be right here.
It's all good. He can do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it in the book for him.
Right here, right? Now this is the Greek translation, right? Greek don't have a word for Melchizedek, so they had to go to the Hebrew origins, which is what I just showed, H4442, right? What does it mean in the Greek? Same thing, king of righteousness, the king of Salem, and priest of the Most High. So don't just get it twisted, right? Means and priest of the Most High. So now let's go to the Hebrew, see what the Hebrew have to say. Same word. Again, here we go. H442. Ain't that where the Greeks said they got it from? H442. Ain't that what that is right there? This is the Hebrew that they got it from, right? And I showed you 4428, H6664. Both of those words put together make this word in our thought, not Canaan's thought, right? What does this mean? Sure. King of Salem and priest of the Most High, to whom Abraham paid tithe after the battle he fought to free Lot. So like I stated before, right, when I was breaking this down earlier, there's no place in our Hebraic thought where the spirit or the spirits, the messengers that's sent by the Most High are priests, nor kings. They're messengers.
Right.
That's their title, messenger. But the titles that we have here on the earth are what? Kings and priests. It's not for the spiritual realm. This is why the Father don't even have the title king. He has the only title Abba. He has that only title. Why? And that's a question for you, bro. If you choose to deal with it according to our thought process.
Word up.
Only one named Father.
Yeah. See, that's how we put it down, man.
You see what I'm saying? Right. So now I gave you the etymology of the word and the information. So now I'm gonna turn it over to you, and I'll deal with the rest of the information after that.
I appreciate the presentation.
And the only thing I will say about everything that he showed,
give me 5 seconds.
That he showed was modern.
Just 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds. Okay. So when I say the other information after that is, I'm gonna show you the word that we use before they changed it to Melchizedek. All right.
You know what happened, bro?
Go ahead.
You put them two words together.
That's what's up.
Because you want to know why? Because I got it in my memory in the Strongs what it says.
Do you see this right here? Hold on. Do you see my screen
So
still?
the 442 part, you grabbed that part from a different word in the Strongs, correct?
What? 442.
H442.
H442 what? I grabbed it from a different what?
This is my point. If
no. We're not gonna do that.
I'm giving you some clarity.
Hold on. You just made a statement about what I showed, the information that I showed, as if I can't go right back to that information. So this is what I showed. So I made this up.
No, what I said was.
Hold on. You see this right here, H4428, right? You see that right there.
Why you not trying to hear me? It's my turn to talk.
Allow me to finish.
It's my turn to talk.
You just made a statement about.
But why every time I start talking, you gotta wait your turn to abuse it
about my information?
You don't even understand what I said.
So that you can get it right.
You don't even understand.
You don't have to run and say something that you don't have to say because I'm already correcting that.
Because I'm about to now. I wasn't gonna do this. Now I'm about to do it.
You just talking, bro.
I wasn't gonna do it. Now I'm about to do it.
You talking about my memory? I don't have to deal with memory. You looking at the screen. Now, if your comprehension can't allow you to understand what you're looking at, that's your personal problem. I'm not dealing with that. So now, let me finish correcting you in your false statement. Now, this brother just said that I made and I gave some false information dealing with this information. So I showed.
He don't even understand what he refuting. If you would let me talk, you would know what the fuck you talking against. You just talking against some shit that you don't even know what you talking against. Because you didn't let me finish talking.
I made the words up. I put the words together. So look, I just showed you the two words, right? So now let's go back to the information once again. That information that I just showed, H4428, H6664, is done already in the breakdown. I didn't make up shit. So nigga, shut the fuck up talking about I made something up. Now, what I want you to do, I'm about to take my screen down. I'm gonna take my screen down and I want you to show me what you're talking about in the language. Go.
I can't do it because I'm on my phone.
Shut the fuck up talking to me about some bullshit.
I don't need to shut the fuck up. Not from no soft-founded nigga like you.
I don't know what the fuck you talking about, nigga. If you can't show me that I made a false statement, then shut your ass up. And move on with your information.
When he's wrong, he think woofing on the internet.
I just don't like bullshit.
Hey, I got it. Hey, it's good. Hey, it's good.
Like bullshit ass
hey, it's good. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. You sure? You sure? Let's relax. Yeah, let's just relax. Hey, just calm down.
He got mad because I pointed out that he put.
Hey, don't pour fire on it, Smash. Don't pour gas on it. Just keep it moving.
I said I didn't want to mess your presentation up, and you reacted because you knew I had you. So I'm gonna
put gas on it, bro. Come on.
I'm gonna let you out.
Hey, hold on, family. Everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet. This brother about to show that he got me. Go, show us.
All anybody got to do is pull up the word Melchizedek in the Strongs. That's why I asked you, did that word start with a TS? If you pull up Melchizedek in the Strongs, it's going to you're going to show that you put two words together. You took the word Melchi and then you took a different word because you're not using what the Strong says. The Strong says what I'm saying, bro. All right, that's all. Ain't no reason to start screaming and shit. What you going to do? Shoot at the screen?
It looked the same to me.
So hold on. Were you saying that he took two different words and put them together?
It's the same word right there.
Listen, let me say.
Anonymous, look at my screen, Anonymous.
I'm looking at my screen,
Anonymous. What do this say right here? Do this say the Strongs right here?
What you did was
right here, Anonymous?
Yes, it's in the Strongs, but you're not hearing
Anonymous. Anonymous.
It say Strongs.
That say Strongs, right? Didn't this brother just say that I didn't bring out the strong information?
I didn't say that. Why are you trying to confuse
he said it's not. He said what I said and what I brought out here in this information is not there. Right here, what do it say? It says from 4428 and 6664. Did I make it up, bro?
Hey, yeah, can I tap in real quick? Let me tap in real quick. I'm just gonna clear this part up real quick, and I'm gonna let y'all.
Stop thinking, and next time, show your information, kid.
I'm gonna tap in.
I'm the wrong one to play with.
Hey, hold on. Let me just clear this part up so we can move on past this point. That is the word that's in there, Smash. Just for the real, I looked it up on mine. That is the right
I
word.
appreciate that. All right, now we can move beyond that. Now, you feel me?
It's the right word. I just looked it up. It's
So
Melchizedek.
now who got so your brother? You probably ain't, the brother probably ain't willing. Now we moving beyond that because the brother. I want to show that on the screen, but I don't think nobody gonna share that on the screen.
I just showed it.
No, family. I just want you, if you could put the screen. What you still charged up for? I just said you won that one. So what's your animus for?
I just showed it, bro. I just showed it.
This how your God make you act?
Hey, stop.
This how ignorant people make me act.
I'm asking.
My power ain't got nothing to do with ignorant people.
What's the matter right now? What's the
you antagonizing, Smash? Come on, bro.
Stop, I'm really asking what's the matter.
Yeah, you being ignorant about the information and you not showing that you just running your mouth.
I think the fact that I'm composed is antagonizing.
No, you just running your mouth. You're not showing that. This is what y'all
just changed. And let's go to the next topic.
You said go to the Strongs. The Strongs was already up on the screen.
I've been trying to show one source since the beginning.
My brother, the Strongs was already up on the screen.
Computer, if I gotta go to my
Strongs was already up on the screen. Me to drink today. So you're gonna show what I just showed. Hey, relax, man. Relax.
Niggas out here playing games, man. Ain't nobody got time to play no games.
I'm relaxed. I'm trying to show you a source, and I want to say if we can access.
You can. I don't know where Miss Carla is. So you can't share right now. I think she had to step away. So we give her that. Let her step away.
So, but all y'all got to do is look up the word Sedek, and it'll give you lots of information on the subject.
You mean Sedek
in Hebrew? Are you saying that's the Hebrew word Sedek?
So what it's going to do is lead us back to how the Amorites were using the term in the time period.
Okay, wait, stop right there. Let's stop right there. I'm not trying to cut your wisdom.
The Amorites are not from the time period. You got to understand that.
Yes, they are.
No, Ammon is Lot's son from his daughter, and his other son was Moab.
Whoa. Okay.
So when you're talking about Ammon, Ammon is Lot's son, Abraham's nephew. It took years before Ammon became a nation.
I'm sorry, I was speaking I wasn't speaking biblically. You might be correct on that. I'm talking about the Ammonites.
He talking about the Amorites. He talking about the Amorites of the Bible, like, or I'm talking about Amorites of. I'm talking about the Amorites of antiquity. I'm sorry, he talking about the Amorites of antiquity. I made a mistake.
Only thing I know about the Amorites of the Bible. We're in the Bible talking about Melchizedek.
Okay.
So the Amorites.
Let the other brother say what he was going to say.
Apostle, Mel is.
I'm shutting up. I'm done.
Anonymous. Mel is black according to what language?
Who?
Male. The word male is black according to what language?
I don't know. I don't know nothing about.
Right. It ain't got nothing to do with none of the languages that we're speaking about. But I'm supposed to acknowledge and understand male as being black. Now, mind you, Smash put this in the chat.
No, that ain't how that works.
The breakdown of Melchizedek. So what language was you breaking it down from?
This is what I'm trying to say. MLK still means king in the Amorite. Those languages are
okay.
We're not talking about Amorite.
Hold on. I get it. I got it now. Let me get this. Please, y'all just give me 30 seconds. I get exactly where you're going with this now, man. All right, I hear this. Once again, though, and this is why Elder, I thought what he was going to say was different. There's different concepts, different meanings in these people groups. I would have to look and see exactly what you're talking about, because we do, and you know this, we have loan words, we have all of these different concepts. But two, the hardest part about this, though, Smash, like I said, is we still not getting to the core of what is the biblical understanding as opposed to what the understanding would be with like an Amorite conversation. And here's why I say that, and then I'm gonna shut up and fall back. When you read this, we know that Abraham worshiped the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Yahweh, what we know to be Yahweh or Yahuwah or Yahweh. I'm not trying to offend nobody with nobody names. I ain't trying to offend nobody with nobody names, but I know everybody got different names. Yeah, or Yahweh. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Or Aqua.
Khan. So, but we understand this. If we look in the text, even right there, the Bible is saying that whatever God it was that Abraham worshipped, Melchizedek worshipped that same God. So the inference is from the Bible is that it's not the same thing as the Canaanites. That's why we're told several times not to do the things that the Canaanites did.
Canaanites.
Right.
Or
And
the
so,
Egyptians.
yeah, or any other nation for that matter, right?
Right.
Any other nation, any other
Like
nation.
in
That's
Egypt, they got the word ba, but ba means soul. In Hebrew, the word ba is house or tent. Bayah means house or tent. So two separate. And I think that's what Smash is doing. He's conflating pronunciation as if it's all the same. And it's not. Like our word Ra, the word Ra or Rahash, it means head. Their word Ra is the sun god. Our word Ra don't mean sun god.
Yeah, those languages ain't related. Those languages ain't related. But I want to respond to what JJ was saying real quick. If I got your name wrong, I apologize. But you just said that Yahweh was worshipped by Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and them, and the Bible says clearly against that. Actually, the Bible says they didn't know him by that name. And
when I said Yahweh, I'm talking about what later becomes. And that's clearly what I said. If you listen to me, I said what later.
Right, you're right. But here's the thing. When we have discussions like this, these are points that we got to point out, because part of the biblical amalgamation of making all the gods into one, or all the deities into a nickname for Yahweh, is that type of thing right there. We need to know.
Ain't got nothing to do with
hold on. No, we finna play. No. Hey, this one I'm finna turn up. Y'all we're gonna stay right here now. Because it sounded like you was insinuating that it ain't no primary source proof that there are different types of cult worships for the name Yahoo. Now I'll come and play in your bag. Are you trying to tell me that there aren't different types of cult worships for the same God name?
No, that's not what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, then. So now we go back to my point. Now I'm getting heated because I'm saying the same thing. Now we go back because you're agreeing with everything that I'm saying, fam. You are agreeing that there were multiple people worshiping the god Yahoo, right? We also agree that there were multiple people worshiping the god El different ways. So to come in and then try to be disingenuous and say that these are the same people without any proof, it gets frustrating, fam. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I still have.
That ain't what I pointed out. That ain't what I pointed out. That you
pointed out exactly what you said, fam. Come on.
Guess what I said? Guess what I said that made you start raging? I said in the Bible it say clearly they didn't know him by that name.
No, that's not what got me heated. That's not what got me heated.
Respond to it though. I feel you, but respond to that though. Respond to that though.
He over here reaching, bro. He don't even.
Yeah, he was. You heard him, Charlotte.
Okay, D-Red got some
they didn't know him
information.
by that name. They're saying they didn't know him by the name that Moses knew him by.
That Moses,
I know, and that name was Yahweh. He told
Moses didn't know him by Yahweh. No, Moses didn't know. Moses got introduced to that name.
I know, at Exodus 6:3.
Can somebody bring some information up? I believe D-Red wants to bring this information up. I guess I can't hear.
As leaders, they try to be as unbiased as possible, even though I'm an Israelite. And you know what I'm saying? I try to be as unbiased as I can, but y'all having two different. One is having a fucking historical discussion, and everybody else is having a biblical discussion. So it's like, okay, like earlier when they was talking about there's no E in the Hebrew language, ain't no E in the damn no Semitic Western Semitic languages. And when you read the Ugaritic text, they don't spell L with an E, spell it with an I. It's ILHM. That's how you spell Elohim in the Ugaritic text, which would be a Western Semitic language.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one person is having a historical discussion, other people having a biblical discussion, and sometimes they don't mesh. So it's like we having a circular argument when people are not even having the same argument. So it's like y'all keep having the same points.
I stay off stuff. I do the Bible, and I thank you for the optimism and the clear mind. I'm willing to get off. I stay in the Bible. What I want someone to address is he really said they didn't know me by that name. I'm not just reading it wrong. He said the forefathers, I come to you, and I'm gonna tell you why. Is because he came to them as El Shaddai, which was another deity, but y'all don't want to start going into that. El Shaddai, which was translated as God Almighty, is inaccurate, says the New Jerusalem Bible on page 908. And so if we going around saying that El Shaddai meant the Almighty all the time, and that's who he came to Abraham as El Shaddai. All right, we know this. I mean, I'm a preacher and y'all can hear it, so don't even try to cut my wisdom. El Shaddai was a straight up deity, a feminine deity, and this is why we find all the blessings of fertility and blessings of the womb and all of these things coming from El Shaddai. Now, I'm not saying that Yahweh is Yahweh. He's established that is as the God of Israel, and that's what it was. But if we want heightened clarity on how the story went down, it went down just like my brother said earlier. And in the beginning of the show, it went down more henotheistically, but it established monolatrism or mono.
I agree. Monolatry, monolatry.
Exactly.
Look, but that's the point. That's the point I was explaining to you. Like that's the only point I'm making. So nobody's disagreeing that you have these gods in that area. I'm not. I can't. I'm not gonna speak for everybody. I'm learning that I got to stop doing that. So I'm not gonna speak for it. I'm not saying that these deities don't exist in this area. I'm just saying it's inaccurate to say that this group of people would have been doing the same thing as all the Canaanites, because all the Canaanites didn't worship the same way, right? There are several different worship practices that you see throughout that area. And I'm glad that you pointed out the monolatric understanding, because that is the biggest point. This is what starts to separate the Israelites from everybody else. And we see this antiquity when we start to look into the material culture, right? That they are actually separate in their monolatric worship. And when they get away from that is when they actually go into quote unquote captivity. That's all I got.
And my biggest point, what I'm saying, is the only time we worship gods like Yahweh or El Elyon is when we were in violation, when we followed other nations. Abraham, if you just read Genesis alone, it can be misleading. But the book of Jubilees clearly states that Abraham met the God Yahweh. The Saint Tetragrammaton with the I.
What's up, brother man?
Hey, son.
Shalom.
Shalom. So it clearly states that Moses, God, the Most High introduced himself to Moses as Ahaya, Asha, Ahaya. I am that I am. Period. Okay? Moses didn't know him by Yahweh. So all these other names that's being attributed to the Most High, Abraham knew him as the Most High. Alaya Awana. Period. And that's how you say it in the Paleo Hebrew. Okay? There is no Aleph. There is no Vav, no Tav. None of these letters or words in the Paleo Hebrew.
So basically,
the
other than
got mixed with the Hebrew, and then by the time the Nukud came, 600 years later, the Masoretic came, and everything got distorted. Between 6 AD and 1000 AD.
So then, but we do agree then, other than etymologically, we agree then that there are several people that are worshiping gods. We see different cult worship, so we obviously can piece together the Israelites worshiping differently. So, I mean, this is a dead conversation from that point then, right?
Right. We fell off. And we know we fell off. We haven't always been the perfect pupil. We've gone wrong. That's why we here in America now suffering this last plague that soon will be over. But we shall see this no more, meaning we shall see slavery no more. This is it.
And you can clearly see grammatically
And structurally, you can clearly see that the writer it wasn't the writers weren't cohesive because you see because the Northern Kingdom was strongly worshiping El when this other kingdom wasn't. So
Well,
that's
the
the
writers,
so
it's not the
you could see.
writers, man. It's not the
Well,
writers, it's the translators.
I
It's
I
the
don't
mean,
even think it's
translators.
no
I
the material.
understand that, but
I think
what I'm saying when you look at the archaeology though in the ground, the Northern Kingdom was actually doing more what you could say worshiping of Canaanite deities than they was doing in the South. That's what you find in the ground. So uh
Well, they were mostly up in Nineveh
huh?
with the Assyrians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see
Right,
more of that up north, you know what I'm saying? And that's the
right.
reason why people look at it that it had to be more than one writer, and that you had to be different writers at different time periods,
Oh
and
yeah,
one maybe in the
42.
United
That
Kingdom
was
and
at the
maybe one
captivity.
in the Southern Kingdom later on. So when the kingdoms
Right.
broke up, so that's the reason why you get more Yahweh worship towards uh the Davidic period.
Yeah.
So
But
I
like
mean,
the
but
Most
you
High
know, it's like
says,
I said,
and I was saying
it's
that,
huh?
go ahead, man. Now I
No,
was
I'll
just
just
saying
go ahead, bro.
in Leviticus 39:7, the Most High clearly states there was a problem of us mixing up his name and calling him by other deities. And he was fed up with it. You can see that in Leviticus 39:7. Okay. He was upset with his people calling him by these different deities that do exist. They're real. You know, these gods did exist. The god
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Baal, they exist. You know, the
yeah.
Canaanites
My
worship
the
Moloch.
guy, my yeah. I mean, Yam, all that. I mean,
Yeah,
that's why I said a good thing for a lot of Israelites to read to get the context of what a brother like Smash is saying. You go read the Ugaritic text because it gives the whole Canaanite pantheonic concept. And it talks about the myths and stuff that was going on and floating around at the time period. So at the early Bronze Age. So that would be my suggestion. You see what I'm saying? So that way you could add context to even what you read in the Bible, help you understand what was going on in the time period. So like I said, so you can put the scriptures in context and understand that it was other people in the area doing certain things, and it help you look at uh what the kingdom of Israel and what Israel was going to be and some of the stuff that they didn't agree with. Like you know what Israelite sites, they know Israelite sites because they find no pig bones, no pork bones. So we know that even in the Bronze Age that Israelites wasn't eating pork. So we know this. So so we know that was part of the culture and what separated them ritualistically, religiously, and culturally from the other groups around them. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, those are the things that I will focus on because it helps you understand why certain things that was okay in the Canaanite pantheon and their worshiping practices, what we didn't do, what we find on the ground, what we wasn't doing, and it helps. Those are the ways to isolate the two. Now, as far as the names and some of the names overlap. You see what I'm saying? But that's just part of cultural diffusion when you're living in an area with somebody. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna take on some of your practices, some of the things that you do. You end up taking on some of the practices of some of the things that they do, and you incorporate them. So, and that's why outside of the pig bones and the the 4 room houses, it's hard for them to distinguish. Outside of that, as far as daggers, how we did our daggers, burial practices. It's hard for them to distinguish Israelite site from a Canaanite site because of that cultural diffusion. So I don't know. So that's what I do. I cross reference the scriptures with what we find on the ground and as many ancient texts as we can find, like the Mari tablets, the Numian Elish, the Ugaritic text, and I try to cross reference them so I can get an understanding of what was going on during the time period.
then you got to be careful because you'd be done bumped into Inky and then Neil, and you don't know what's going on.
No, I don't invoke them. I just read because, like I said, when I read history, like I don't, even though it's smash on here, but I was part of the Hebrew War Machine shit when it was going on and giving them some of the stuff to beat them up on coming on trial with. But at the same time, I when I'm studying history, I'm studying history. When I'm studying the scriptures, I'm studying the scriptures, and I've learned how to kind of stop saying that it ain't no history in the scriptures, but I try to make them separate unless I'm trying to do a cross reference to see what something may be wrong in. You know what I'm saying? And then see if I can dig and find an answer if I don't have an answer for it. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, when I'm studying history, I'm trying to study history. So if I'm looking for the history in the Bible, I'm cross-referencing it with extra biblical sources. That way, I can make sure my argument is solid because I can use the scriptures and an extra biblical source to back up my claim. So, but yeah, so that's part of my methodology, man. So, it worked for me.
Commander, you want to finish, man? Commander General. You want to finish doing your presentation, or were you finished?
Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't finished. I mean, but at the end of the day, let me see how much more did I want to bring out, because I wasn't trying to go through the whole presentation. Yeah, this is what I wanted to bring out. All right. Go back to share my screen. Yeah.
I'm muting up.
All right. So we were talking about Melchizedek, right? This title here, Adonzedek, is something that was used before Melchizedek was used. And this is before we even got into that particular part of the land, and before Canaanites even became Canaan, or he was even born. All right. So look, let's just take a look at the etymology of the word a little bit. All right. So looking at the Merriam Dictionary, it gives us an understanding used in place of YHWH as a name of the God of the Hebrews during prayer recitation. Right. Prayer didn't just start when Abraham was born. Prayer didn't just start when the Most High interacted with Abraham. You see what I'm saying? So we got to understand, when did prayer start? Right? Then we get down into the etymology of the word in the Hebrew. Adonzedek, right? Meaning, my Lord is righteous, Lord of justice. Then we can break down how it's used also etymology. I didn't even see that. Man, let me get back to this to my family real quick, fam. I'm gonna get back to this presentation a little bit later. But I really want to actually have more time to break it down, you know what I'm saying, thoroughly, line by line, information by information, because the way that things happened just now, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't able to really become clear like I wanted it to be.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, it sounds interesting, and y'all let me know. Kareem, make sure you send me some when that start back up. That you send me some information.
All right.
All right. All right, y'all be good.
All right.
Yeah. I'm through too, so we could end it.
All right.
All right, peace out, everybody.